So I'd like to introduce Richard Austin. Richard, if you'd be so kind, give us a little brief synopsis of your background and then share with us about the innovation that you're working on.
Well, Ann, I'm really delighted we're able to have this conversation. My background, I am trained as a scientist. I've been a scientist for most all of my career. I've spent a career in the pharmaceutical industry since 1993. I know it's not a real popular industry these days, but this is where new innovations come from in terms of new therapies for cancer patients. In the pharmaceutical industry, I've been a scientist at the bench, helping to make those new discoveries. But a few years ago, I discovered a love for the business side of what we're doing and began managing R&D operations. And so the companies I've been with in the past are ones you may have heard of, Sanofi and GlaxoSmithKline. And this company that we've started is one called Reglagene. And so I'm really delighted that you've asked me to talk just a little about that. You know, Ann, it happens much too often that a cancer survivor will go to see her oncologist and hear these life-shattering words: your cancer is back. Cancer has a way of changing itself to render even the most effective treatments of no effect whatsoever. This problem of therapy resistance, it's actually the greatest challenge that cancer patients face today. And the mission we have at Reglagene is to create treatments that attack the root causes of therapy resistance to keep cancer patients responding to treatment longer and save patient lives. 1 in 6 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer in his lifetime. For the vast majority of men receiving this diagnosis, removal of the prostate, either with or without radiation treatment, is enough to keep their cancer at bay, perhaps even for the rest of their lives. But a subset of this population will have aggressive prostate cancer. And whenever their prostate-specific antigen score begins to rise, it signals that a lot more has to be done. For these men, they're almost all put on what's known as hormone therapy. And this is a treatment that deprives the prostate cancer tumor of essential testosterone that it needs for survival. And virtually all men that begin hormone therapy, they respond to it. But given enough time, cancer finds a way to defeat it. And whenever cancer defeats hormone therapy and men become resistant to it, that's when men with prostate cancer start dying. So what we need to come up with are therapies that keep men responsive to the treatments that work to stop disease progression to these lethal levels. And at Reglagene, that's our objective. So why does this problem of resistance crop up to begin with? Well, the key phrase here is DNA to RNA to protein. This is the central dogma of biology. And I just want to say it again: DNA to RNA to protein. Right now, Ann, while we're having this conversation, the DNA inside the cells in your body is being transcribed into copies of what is known as rRNA. And these RNA copies are then translated into the proteins that sustain your life. This is a beautiful dance that happens within our bodies. It happens with exquisite timing and fidelity. But it's when this timing and fidelity is lost that disease results. And this is especially true for cancer. So what cancer does, whenever cancer is confronted with a therapy that is taking away its life, and let's be clear here, when cancer is confronted with effective treatments, cancer is in itself a fight for its very survival, just like the patient is in her fight as well. And what cancer uses is a process called gene mutation to physically go in and change the DNA. And what that does, it disrupts this beautiful DNA to RNA to protein dance to cause either abnormal proteins to be made or too much or too little of the target protein to be made. This throws the cells out of balance. But what it does is cancer keeps trying these different mutations until it finds the right one or even a combination that defeats the therapy that confronts it. And so while the susceptible cells are being beaten down, die, whenever cancer finds this right mutation that defeats the therapy, that's whenever relapses happen with a vengeance. So how do we fix this? Well, there's two obvious things one can do here. There's if we could go in and physically change back what cancer has done to make it to mutate that gene to create this way that it's able to survive, or we can come up with therapies that temporarily mask, if you will, that mutation and put the cell back into balance. And that's really what I want to compare next. And so these physical edits of genes are treatments referred to as either gene therapy or gene editing. These are invasive treatments. Patients have to spend quite a long time in the hospital whenever they receive a treatment of this type. These treatments are also permanent as well. So once you go in and you edit a patient's genes, you don't go back. And so if there are toxic effects that are associated with these gene edits, then the patient has those with him or her for the rest of their lives. And these treatments, they're the most expensive therapies on the planet. Gene therapy treatments that are on the market today range in cost from $400,000 per treatment all the way up to $2.2 million. Now at Reglagene, we're motivated by a mission of creating medicines for a global market. We not only want to create medicines for patients in wealthy countries like the United States, but patients all around the world. And so what we're designing are medicines that will reverse the effects of these gene mutations, not gene edits, but go in and reverse the actual functional effect. And these medicines will be administered to patients in pill form in the comfort and convenience of their own homes. The effect of these medicines will be temporary, last only as long as the patient takes the medicine. And the idea is for cancer treatments, you only want these treatments on board as long as they're effective and working and keeping the cancer at bay. That's what we want to do. And these medicines that come in pill form, they are the lowest cost treatments on the market. These are the kinds of medicines that work for patients all over the planet. Now, the first product we have in development is one to treat prostate cancer. As I said, it will be orally administered. Will have its own standalone efficacy for the treatment of prostate cancer. But even better, we're designing it to be paired with hormone therapy at the first rise of prostate-specific antigen. We want to keep that hormone therapy working and delay disease progression to keep patients alive. Now, cancer, a lot of cancers in the body are quite similar to each other in the ways that they defeat the treatments they're confronted with. And the mechanisms that prostate cancer uses to defeat hormone therapy are quite similar to what goes on with lung cancer, pancreatic, breast, colon, and thyroid cancer as well. So we're exploring extensions to those other disease indications. Now at Reglagene, our dream is not cancer treatments, it is cancer cures. The greatest advancement in cancer therapy over the last several years is this idea of immuno-oncology, training the immune system to seek out cancer as a foreign body and destroy it. Patient responses to these treatments have been phenomenal. They have been durable. The problem is that immunotherapy works about in about 40% of the cancers. In the other 60%, it is not effective. And the reason why? Cancer has made mutations to genes that block its effectiveness. And that's where Reglagene comes into play. Our ultimate dream is to come up with medicines that can be paired with with immunotherapy to make it effective across a broader range of cancers and bring that treatment to many, many more patients, bring those durable responses to many, many more patients. Now, to pull off a dream like what we have, you have to have a world-class team, and at Reglagene, that's what we're building. You've heard a little bit about my background. I'm skilled at bringing in R&D programs in the pharmaceutical industry on time and on budget. We also have on our team the technology inventor. He has brought six cancer medicines from concept into human clinical trials. We also have Dr. Gokhale on the bottom left there. He's a prolific inventor from the University of Arizona. He has joined Reglagene to bring his skills along. And also my good friend, Dr. Terry Suzuki, who I worked with at Sanofi for over 20 years, outstanding biologist, knows how to bring drug development programs into the clinic. We also have adults in the room as well. We have great governance at the board level. Dr. Sharon Aid is a 25-year pharmaceutical executive, most notably with Hospira. Lawrence Kennett on the bottom right there managed billion-dollar businesses at Baxter Healthcare as well as Smith's Medical, and so they are providing excellent guidance to us on the business end of what we are doing. At Reglagene, we're motivated by a dream that cancer survivors don't have to fear those follow-up visits with their oncologist. And the Cancer Fund shares that dream. And we're just so delighted to be engaged with the Cancer Fund and its partners, because the Cancer Fund gets it. It knows that the only way we have an impact is if we all work together.
Well, thank you so much, Richard. This sounds so exciting. And, thank you for taking your time today and joining us.
It has been my absolute pleasure. I look forward to future conversations with you, Ann, and with your partners and friends at the Cancer Fund.
Well, great. Thank you.